The day a reckless teen met Keanu Reeves. Crash. The skateboard slammed into the golden retriever so hard that both the board and the dog went flying across the sidewalk. 17-year-old Marcus didn't even slow down as he grabbed his board and kept running, earbuds blasting music, completely oblivious to the whimpering behind him. What Marcus didn't know, that dog belonged to one of Hollywood's most beloved actors, and what happened next will restore your faith in humanity. 3 hours earlier, Marcus Chen was having the worst day of his life. Failed his chemistry test, got rejected by Sarah Martinez in front of half the cafeteria. And now his mom was blowing up his phone about coming home early to babysit his little sister because their grandmother was in the hospital again. "This is so stupid," he muttered, kicking his skateboard harder as he weaved through the crowded Venice Beach boardwalk. People were moving too slow, talking too loud, existing too much in his space. That's when he saw the gap, a perfect line between two food trucks that would let him cut across to the bike path. He didn't see the older man in the worn leather jacket walking a beautiful golden retriever. Didn't notice how the dog had stopped to sniff something, creating slack in the leash. Marcus was going full speed when it happened. The impact sent the dog tumbling. The man dropped to his knees immediately, cradling the injured animal as Marcus disappeared into the crowd, too focused on his own problems to look back. "Hey, hey," the man called out, but the teenager was already gone. What Marcus also didn't know was that 3 people had filmed the entire thing. By the time he made it home, the videos were already spreading across social media. "Reckless teen injures dog and runs" was trending on TikTok within 2 hours. But here's where the story gets interesting. The man in the leather jacket, he never posted the videos, never shared them, never even mentioned what happened to anyone. Instead, he quietly took his dog, a rescue named Charlie, to the nearest veterinary clinic. Charlie had a sprained leg and some bruises, but would be fine with rest and medication. The vet bill came to $340. The man paid it without hesitation, stayed for 2 hours to make sure Charlie was comfortable, then carried him home. That man was Keanu Reeves. Now you'd expect Keanu to be angry, right? To want justice, to use his platform to shame this kid. Instead, something else happened. Something that shows you exactly why Keanu Reeves is different from everyone else in Hollywood. He did what Keanu always does. He started thinking about the why behind the action. That kid was running from something, Keanu told his friend Alex later that evening, as they sat on his porch, Charlie sleeping peacefully between them. "People don't move through the world that carelessly, unless they're carrying something heavy." Alex shook his head. "Dude, he hurt Charlie and didn't even stop. He's just a selfish punk." But Keanu was already pulling out his phone, scrolling through the viral videos. In one of them, shot from a different angle, you could see Marcus's face clearly for just a moment. And in that moment, Keanu saw something others missed. The kid looked devastated. Not defiant, not careless, devastated. "Look at his eyes, Alex. That's not the face of someone who doesn't care. That's the face of someone who's drowning." It took 2 days, but Keanu found him. Marcus was exactly where Keanu expected, sitting alone at the skate park after school, not really skating, just his board lay untouched beside him as he stared at his phone, reading comment after comment calling him heartless, cruel, a monster. The videos had blown up. #dog abuser was trending. Someone had identified his school. His Instagram was flooded with hate messages. A few kids had even recognized him in the hallways and confronted him. Marcus looked up when a shadow fell across his phone screen. He expected another angry stranger. Instead, he found himself looking at the man whose dog he'd injured. His stomach dropped. "Oh God. Oh no. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I was just..." The words tumbled out in a panicked rush. Keanu sat down beside him on the concrete. "What's your name?" "Marcus. Marcus Chen. And I swear I didn't see your dog. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I was just... everything was going wrong and I was angry, and I wasn't paying attention." And Marcus. Keanu's voice was calm, gentle. "How's Charlie?" What? My dog, Charlie. How do you think he's doing?" Marcus felt tears burning his eyes. "I don't know. Bad. I hurt him. Everyone's calling me a monster and they're right, because what kind of person hurts a dog and just runs away?" Keanu studied the teenager's face, the kind of person who's 17 and overwhelmed and made a mistake. Charlie's fine, by the way. Sprained leg, but he'll recover completely. The relief in Marcus's eyes was immediate and genuine. But that's not why I'm here, Keanu continued. You want me to pay for the vet bills, Marcus said, his voice flat. I get it, I'll figure out how to get the money. Actually, I want to know why you were running. The question caught Marcus off guard. What? 3 days ago you hurt my dog because you were moving through the world like you were running from something. I want to know what you were running from. Marcus stared at him. Why do you care? Because I've been there. Maybe not at 17, but I've been the guy moving too fast through life because slowing down meant feeling things I didn't want to feel. And something about the way Keanu said it, honest, without judgment, like he actually understood, broke something open in Marcus. The whole story came out. His grandmother's health scare, the pressure at school, feeling like he was disappointing everyone, the constant anxiety that something bad was always about to happen, the way he'd been using skateboarding to outrun his own thoughts. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone, Marcus finished. I was just trying to get away from my own head for a few minutes. Keanu nodded. I get that, but running away from your problems usually means running into someone else's. Yeah, Marcus said quietly. I figured that out. So here's what we're going to do, Keanu said, standing up and extending his hand. You're going to come meet Charlie properly, and then you're going to help me with something. Marcus took his hand. Help you with what? I volunteer at a dog rescue every Saturday. Dogs that have been hurt, abandoned, forgotten. They need people who understand what it's like to feel lost. Keanu paused. Think you might be interested. Marcus blinked. You want me to volunteer? After what I did, especially after what you did, the best way to make up for causing harm is to prevent it from happening to others. And that's exactly what happened. Every Saturday for the next 6 months, Marcus showed up at the West Side Animal Rescue. He cleaned kennels, walked dogs, helped with feeding. But more than that, he connected with the animals that were struggling, the ones who were scared, defensive, lashing out because they'd been hurt. Keanu was there too, usually in his old clothes, no fanfare, just another volunteer. They rarely talked about the incident. Instead, they worked side by side, helping dogs learn to trust again. You're good at this, Keanu told Marcus one afternoon, as they watched him patiently work with a pit bull mix who'd been abused. You understand them. I understand feeling scared and angry at the same time, Marcus replied. It makes you do stupid things. That's when it clicked for Keanu. This kid wasn't just volunteering to make amends. He was healing himself by helping others heal. The real kicker, Marcus never knew who Keanu was. For 6 months, he just knew him as John, a kind man who owned a golden retriever named Charlie and cared about rescue dogs. Marcus didn't watch movies much, wasn't on social media anymore. He deleted everything after the incident, and Keanu never mentioned his career. The truth came out accidentally when another volunteer mentioned that John Wick himself was volunteering that day. Marcus looked confused. Wait, you're Keanu Reeves? Marcus stared at him. You're famous. Keanu shrugged. I make movies sometimes, but you're actually famous, like really famous, and I hurt your dog and why didn't you tell me? Would it have mattered? Marcus thought about it. Yeah, I would have been too intimidated to actually talk to you, too worried about saying the wrong thing. Exactly. The story should have ended there. Lesson learned, redemption earned, everyone moves on. But remember those viral videos from the beginning? The ones that turned Marcus into an internet villain. Well, someone at the rescue center had been quietly documenting Marcus's volunteer work. Not for social media, not for publicity, just for their own records. 6 months of photos showing this teenager patiently working with traumatized animals, helping them learn to trust again. When the original videos resurfaced, as viral content always does, someone decided to share the rest of the story. The update went viral too, but this time the narrative was different. The teenager who hurt Keanu Reeves' dog spent 6 months volunteering at Animal Rescue, and Keanu was there helping him the whole time. Suddenly, Marcus wasn't the villain anymore. He was the kid who made a mistake and spent months trying to make it right. And Keanu wasn't just the victim, he was the man who chose compassion over condemnation. The day the story broke, Marcus's phone exploded again. But this time, it wasn't with hate messages. Dude, you were working with John Wick and didn't even know it. This is the most Keanu Reeves thing ever. You're both legends for this. The attention was overwhelming, but different. Instead of anger, people were sharing their own stories about second chances, about mentors who believed in them, about the power of choosing kindness over judgment. Marcus called Keanu that evening. This is crazy. People are calling me a hero now, but I'm not. I'm still the guy who hurt your dog. You're the guy who hurt my dog. Felt genuine remorse, and spent 6 months working to be better. Keanu corrected. That's not heroic, that's just human. But it's the kind of human the world needs more of. 1 year later, Marcus graduated high school. Keanu and Charlie were both at the ceremony, sitting quietly in the back with Marcus's family. Marcus had gotten into UC Santa Barbara with a scholarship, partly based on his volunteer work at the rescue. In his graduation speech as class salutatorian, Marcus talked about the power of second chances and the importance of accountability. He never mentioned Keanu by name, but everyone who knew the story understood. The worst day of my life taught me that actions have consequences, Marcus said. But it also taught me that people are generally good, and that redemption is possible if you're willing to do the work. After the ceremony, as families took photos and celebrated, Keanu approached Marcus. I'm proud of you, kid. I'm still sorry about Charlie. Charlie's not. Want to know why? Keanu smiled. Because if you hadn't crashed into him that day, we never would have met, and that would have been a real loss. The epilogue to this story happened just last month. Marcus, now in his sophomore year at UCSB, studying veterinary medicine, got a text from Keanu. Charlie's getting old. Thinking about getting him a companion. Want to help me pick one out from the rescue? They spent the afternoon at Westside Animal Rescue, where Marcus still volunteers every time he's home. They found a 3-year-old shepherd mix named Luna, who'd been returned twice because she was too energetic. She just needs someone who understands her, Marcus said, as Luna immediately bonded with Charlie. Sounds familiar, Keanu replied. As they filled out the adoption paperwork, the rescue coordinator smiled. You know, this place has changed a lot since you two started volunteering here. More people want to help now. They heard about what you guys did, and decided they wanted to be part of something like that. Walking to their cars, Luna trotting happily between Charlie and Keanu, Marcus turned to his unlikely mentor. Can I ask you something? That first day, when you found me at the skate park, how did you know I wasn't just some punk kid who didn't care? Keanu was quiet for a moment. Because hurt people, but they also heal people, if you give them the chance. I figured you were worth the chance. He paused, watching Charlie and Luna sniff around the parking lot together. Besides, Charlie's a pretty good judge of character, and he never held a grudge against you, not for a second. The moral of the story: sometimes the worst moments of our lives create opportunities for the best parts of ourselves to emerge. Marcus learned that running from your problems usually means running into someone else's. Keanu learned that sometimes the person who needs your forgiveness the most is the last person who expects to receive it. And Charlie, well, Charlie got a new sister and the satisfaction of knowing that his one bad day led to countless good ones for traumatized dogs at the rescue center. In a world that's quick to judge and slow to forgive, sometimes all it takes is one person willing to see the human behind the mistake. Sometimes that person is a movie star. Sometimes it's just someone who understands that we're all carrying something heavy, and we all deserve a second chance to do better. That's the Keanu difference. Not the fame, not the movies, not the memes, just the radical act of choosing compassion when the world expects condemnation. And honestly, that's the kind of human we should all aspire to be.